Right, let's have a look at question 2 on that paper. Millie bakes cakes and sells them at the local market. Millie needs 4 eggs to make each cake. She has 28 eggs. How many cakes can she make? So what you find with questions typically, the design of a good question, is part A will be relatively easy, B will be a bit harder, C will be harder again, and it tends to get harder as you go down through the question, okay? So when I approach a question, I always expect the start of it to be relatively easy, and I expect to struggle towards the end. Okay, so you can see here Millie needs 4 eggs to make a cake. She has 28 eggs, so it is as easy as 28 divided by 4, 7, 14, 21, 28. So she can make 7 cakes. Part B, Millie makes a filling for her cakes using only butter and sugar. The ratio of the weight of butter to sugar is 5:7. Okay, one day Millie makes a total of 2.4 kgs of filling. Work out how many grams of sugar Millie uses to make the filling. Okay, so ratios tends to be a section that some students don't like. So see how you get on. The whole reason we're doing this paper is so that you can ask me to do different topics in preparation for your junior cert. Okay, it's to highlight the topics that we need to do more questions on. So you can see for the ratio, I have butter is to sugar. That's the order that it was given in, and then the ratio written under it. Okay, and I have the dots on top of each other, and that's deliberately so that I can see which proportion is butter in their mix and which proportion is sugar. And for anyone that has baked anyone, or not even baked, even made concrete outside or anything at all, you can see that there's more sugar in this than there is butter. Okay, that's what a ratio means. Okay, so for every 5 proportions or portions of butter that goes into this mix, you put in 7 portions of butter. Okay, and I'm not saying how many grams it is or how many anything it is. It doesn't matter. Okay, so a proportion or a ratio is kind of independent of whatever units you're measuring in. It could be 5 tablespoons of butter to 7 tablespoons of sugar. It could be 5 cups of butter to 7 cups of sugar. So it's a proportion or a relationship between how much sugar to butter is in this mixture. Okay, how I tend to do these, and there's a few different ways of doing them. How I tend to do them is I would add 7 and 5 and 7 there, so I get 12 portions. Okay, so into this mixture there is 12 portions of butter and sugar. Okay, and then I kind of ask the question, how much is 1 portion? Okay, now you see the filling, it's up here. I have 2.4 kgs of filling. Okay, and that's total. If I could spell, okay. So how much is 1 portion? Well, into that is 12 portions. So I take the 2.4 kg and divide it by 12. Okay. So 0.2 kgs is 1 portion. Okay, and then if you go back to the mixture and you look at how much butter to sugar is there, you'll see that it's 5:7. So you come to your question then and you go, well, how much grams of sugar is she using for her fillings? So sugar is 7 portions out of that 12. So I would go 7 multiplied by 0.2 kgs, and I'm getting 1.4 kgs of sugar. Okay, and that's lovely, that's correct, but it says how many grams, and that's why it's in bold. So always go back to the question, see what units they want, see how many decimal places they want, so on and so forth. So that's always the last step in any question. Go back and see what format they want their answer in. So kilo or milli always means 1,000. So if I multiply that by 1,000, I will convert that to grams. Okay. And of course you get 1,400 grams of sugar. And that's how you work ratios. If they had asked me how much butter was in it, well, I would go back to one portion, which is 0.2 or 200 grams, and multiply it by the 5, okay? And you'll get 1,000 grams. And you can see that at all times, it has to equal to the amount you started with, the total amount. Okay, part C of this question is quite a long question. I have C, D and E left. So part C, Millie is buying flour at her local shop. The shop has 2 special offers. A special offer A, 1 kg bags, $3.50 each. Special offer, 3 bags for the price of 2. Or special offer B, you have 1.5 kg bags, they're €5 each. Special offer, 20% off. Millie wants 6 kgs of flour. Work out which offer is better. Okay, so let's look at offer A. She wants 6 kgs of flour. So therefore, for 6 kgs, you would need 6 bags. Okay, the special offer, 3 bags for the price of 2. So you need to pay for 3 bags for the price of 2, pay for 4, and you have 2 free. Okay, out of each bundle of 3 bags, you're only paying for 2. So I have 2 bundles of 3 to make up the 6 bags, paying for 2 and 1 free in each one. So I am paying for 4. So 4 by 350 equals, I'll pop on my calculator, by 4 equals €14. So that's offer A. Let's have a look at offer B. 1.5 kg bags, €5 each. Special offer, 20% off. 1.5 kgs. So I need to divide 6 kgs by 1.5 to see how many bags do I need. Okay, and you'll get 4 bags. Okay, so I need 4 1.5 kg bags. I multiply that by 5. 5 fours are €20. Okay, and so that's before the special discount, so 20% off. So it depends on how you do 20%. I would divide by 100 and multiply by 20. That's one way of getting 20% of a number. And it's €4. Okay, you can also on your calculator do, I'll just write them over here. So this is one way. You can divide by 100 and multiply by 20. That's one way of getting 20%. You can go €20, multiply by, where am I, 20% on your calculator. And your calculator, when you put in that percentage sign into a calculator, it automatically divides by 100. Okay, and you'd get €4. You can also go, this is the third way, change the 20% to a decimal and do it that way. So whichever of those methods suits you best, you can work it out that way, okay? And don't be too stressed about how someone beside you is doing it or how Solutions Somewhere is doing it. You do it your way, or the way that definitely makes more sense in your head. So you can see I'm a divide by 100 and multiply by 20. That doesn't make that way the right way. So I'm getting €16 then for offer B. So offer A is cheaper. Okay, and you can see all your worked out solutions are here. So even if you make a little mistake in your worked out solutions, you'll still get most of the marks because you have recorded all your work. What you should never do is do all of this in your calculator and just tick offer A. Because if you're wrong, you're giving your corrector no opportunity to give you any marks at all. So you'll either get full marks or you'll get no marks. Okay, and that comes down to the marking scheme for the question. If you write down these, even if you make a mistake, at least the corrector can see you knew roughly what you were doing and you'll get most of the marks. Okay, so that's why you show your workings out. It's to try and get as much marks as you can. Right, Millie sells each cake for $7.50. This gives her a profit of 20%. Work out how much it costs Millie to make each cake. So this particular question is where in the past, when I've been doing grinds, a lot of people make some mistakes. Okay, so she sells the cake for $7.50. Okay, so this is how much it costs her to make it. Okay, and then she sells it. And the difference, of course, is the profit that she keeps. Okay, and that's how any business works. So she sells it for €750. Okay, her profit is 20%. So when she sells it, she's selling it for the equivalent of 120%. Okay, the selling price already also includes the profit. Okay, so when you're to work out her costs, you divide the 750 by its percentage. And you multiply it by 100 to get the cost price. Okay, €625. Okay, so where do people go wrong in this question? Well, if I get 20% of this value, okay, so sorry, if I get 20% of it, okay, so divide by 100 and multiply by 20, I get €1.50. And then if I take that away, I get €6. Okay, and that's the most common mistake people will make. Okay, but my question to you is now if you flip it on its head, if you start off with €6 and you get 20% of that and you add it on, do you get to 750? So I want you to try that in your calculators. Divide 6 divided by 100, multiply by 20, and you'll get 120, and add that on to your €6. And can you see that you get 720? You don't get the 760, it's the 750 that's the selling price. Okay, so just to repeat that, if you happen to do it this way, or if you can't remember which way to do it, when you work out the cost price of €6, if you do it this incorrect way, what I'm suggesting you do is now find 20% of that cost price and add it on and see do you get to 750. And you'll see you won't. Okay, whereas if you get 20% of 625 and you add it on, you will get to 750. Okay, so this is not the way to do it. You have to remember that the selling price also includes the percentage profit. So it's not a 100% number. That's why dividing by 100 does not work. It's not a 100% number. It's a 120% number. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Okay, you could have also multiplied by 20 here and subtracted off 750. That's fine too. So again, let me know if we need to do more of these. It comes up a lot of time in VAT questions where it includes VAT and you have to get the price before VAT. This is how you do it, okay? And then this is the incorrect way to do all the VAT ones as well. Okay, so a very important question, that one there. Part E then, Millie has 3,000 in a special savings account. It has an interest rate of 2.5% per year for 4 years compounded annually. She does not put any money in or take any money out of the account over 4 years. Work out the total amount in the account after the 4 years. Give your answer correct to the nearest cent. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second and give you a chance to do it. Okay, so to do this one, the key word you're looking for is compounded annually. So what they're doing is they're putting money into a bank account with an interest rate, leaving the money there. And in any savings account, when you leave money there in a bank, it accrues interest or interest grows on it, and you end up with more money. Compounded annually means that, so if I have, year 1, and I start off with €100, and we'll say I have a 10% interest rate. We'll keep the maths easy, okay? So a 10% interest rate, if I start off with €100, and if I get 10% per year, then can you see the 10% of 100? My interest would be €10. And then at the end of the year, I would end up with €110. Okay, so in other words, the amount I put in earns interest, and you add it on. When you compound it, you start off year 2 with 110 euros. Okay, now what difference does that make? Well, if you get 10% of 110, your interest this time would be 11 years. So can you see that each year the amount of interest you get also goes up because the amount you're starting with adds up? And that's because you're adding this interest on and it becomes this cycle. Okay, I end up with 121 euros there. So at the start of year 3, I start off with 121. I get 10% of that, which is 12 euros 10. I add it on, which is 133, if I can add euros. And then year 4, 133.10. I get 10% of that, which is 13.31. I add it on, and I get 146.41. So the word compound means you add on the interest at the end of each year before you start another year. Okay, and it's the most common question you get asked. Okay, and you can see this is the long way of working it out where you do it per year. Very good to do because it shows you what exactly happens. Okay, but there is an easier way. So I'm here in the log tables, which of course you're handed out in your junior cert. And I'm going to the financial maths page, which is on a bit. Here, so page 30, okay? And you can see here on page 30, I have a formula called compound interest. And F is equal to P times 1 plus I to the power of T. So what do they all mean? Well, it tells you here, F is the final value, P is the principal, and that's a financial term for whatever you start with. Okay, so in my rough example I did there, it was 100 euros. F would be the amount I end up with as the final value after 4 years. Okay, let's have a look at I and T. We have to come up here for that. So T is the time in years. So that's what goes here in the power. And then I is the annual rate of interest, depreciation or growth. This is the important bit. It must be as a decimal. Okay, and it gives you an example here, 8% would be 0.08. Okay, so let me take that formula there. I'm just going to copy it onto here. Okay, so that's from the log tables. Okay, and I'm just going to stay in red for a minute and I'm going to show you how it would work with the example I did here, the one I worked out with the 100 euros. So my final value will be equal to 100 times 1 plus. Now, if you convert 10% interest rate to a decimal, you can divide it by 100 on your calculator if you can't do it in your head, or it's 0.1. T is my time in years, so we did it for 4 years. Okay, and I just want you all to put that into the calculator and just convince yourself. I'll make sure you can get it into the calculator and you get 146.41. Okay, which is what I hoped you get. And of course, it should be the exact same value that we got from working it out the long way. Okay, so a much faster way of working out compound interest. Okay, the important thing is you're not allowed to put in money or take out money. You don't change what's called the principal amount during the time here. Okay, so that's the compound interest. Let's try it for this one. Okay, and if you need to see this bit in red here again, it's in the recording, so make sure you have a look. Right, let's have a look for this one. So she has a 3,000 in her savings account. Her interest rate is 2.5%. Okay, so divide that by 100 if you need to, but it's 0.025. Okay, and my T is the number of years, so it's 4 years, and my principal amount is what I started with, and she's starting with 3,000 in her special savings account. So then take down the formula. This is how I would write it in an exam paper. So it's equal to 3,000 times 1 plus 0.025 to the power of 4. And again, put that into your calculator. Oh, 3,000, not 300. So 3,000. 1 plus 0.025 to the power of 4. And when you're putting in the power of 4, make sure you're using this button here, because that one allows you to put in any power you want. And I get 3311.438672 when I do that. And because it's money, you naturally round it to 2 decimal places, okay? So not 43, because when you're rounding to 2 decimal places, you have to look at the third place, which in this case is an 8. So it's going to round that 3 up to another 4. And my unit is euros. So 3311.44. And that was that second question.